Hey bro, welcome to the Loom, and I'm going to go over who I am, what actually is high ticket sales, and why my methodology is so different to everyone else. So, I'm 19 years old, I'm from Slough, and I went to Nottingham to study maths, but I just did not feel right. I knew the higher version of myself driving that McLaren with the Richard Milley, living up in Miami. He did not get there with a university degree. So, what the fuck was I doing there? Whilst studying in uni, sitting in that econ, I knew the version of myself that had that life was not doing that. And because I was acting in disalignment to him, I felt unworthy of becoming him. And by feeling unworthy of becoming him, there was just so much resistance in the pursuit to becoming him. So what I instantly started doing was cutting hair in my university account so I could save money for mentorship. And by May, I was making 10K a month as a closer. Now I've built my own sales agency and I've scaled it to 30K a month and I'm doing what I love. In that whole time, from February to today, I've spent over 25K in mentorship. And 20K of that is all in mindset because I understand mindset is what controls everything. And you'll realize in this bootcamp, I'm going to be going over a lot of mindset because I understand that it's mindset that will allow you to progress in anything that you're doing because it's mindset behind beliefs, beliefs which drive actions and actions which drive results. So if you understand the foundation, which is mindset, you can always get anywhere because you literally manipulate reality to your liking, to your advantage. So what actually is high ticket sales? It's simple. It's taking someone from where they are to where they want to be by helping them think, feel, and act as the person they are trying to become. And not a lot of people understand this, and not a lot of people kind of portray high ticket sales in this way. But you'll realize, and what I'm going to do in this bootcamp is make you guys understand how to make a prospect feel worthy of becoming the person that you're promising you're going to make them through your service. It's not about describing the offer. It's not about just reading scripts. It's not about just throwing frameworks at people. What it is doing is understanding the prospect, understanding their beliefs, understanding the beliefs stopping them, and shifting those beliefs so they finally act in alignment with who they want to become. So you guys need to realize that your prospect has had a pain for a certain amount of time, right? And this pain has, made their life not so happy. But the thing is, they know what they need to do, but they've just not done it. But the reason they've not done it is because of limited beliefs. Because what you guys need to understand is the potential you tap into is only the potential you believe you can tap into. And these beliefs limit the amount of potential they believe they can tap into. So when you're promising a service to your prospect and you're telling them it's going to be far greater than the potential they believe they can tap into, they're obviously not going to feel worthy of becoming this person, right? So what you need to understand as a sales rep is identify the beliefs that are limiting the potential they believe they can tap into. Break them so now the potential they believe they can tap into is higher. And now you've made them feel worthy of becoming the version of themselves that you're promising you're going to make them. And by making them feel worthy, they're always going to buy the solution. So essentially what you've done, right, is you've built the gap, you've made your solution the only bridge, and you've broken the limiting beliefs that have been stopping them from crossing that bridge because now they believe that they are worthy to cross that bridge. So what actually is high ticket sales and what are the specific roles in it? So you've got appointment setting and you've got closing. So the whole point of an appointment set is to qualify based on three things: if they can use the service, if they need the service, and if they can pay for the service, while also making sure the person shows up to the call with high buying intent. They do this by building the gap, showing the distance between where they are now and where they want to be, and making your solution essentially just look like the only bridge. So when they show up, they already feel like this is the thing I need. They also do follow-ups. This is to keep intent high, to keep attention, and to make sharp rate high. How this works for TGR, for example. If he gets loads of DMs, setters qualifying the DMs. They'll ask questions, they'll build the gap, and they'll create that buying intent. If he runs ads, setters do this on the phone. They use the numbers and emails TGR will collect. And what the setter books them into the closer's calendar is the closer's job to convert them from prospects to clients. And that's essentially the whole sales cycle with most high ticket businesses. Okay, now I've explained the roles, what actually is sales. So sales is not describing the offer. Sales is not scripts. Sales is understanding that your prospect has been aware of their pain for a long time. They already know what to do. They just don't do it. And the reason they don't do it is because of their beliefs. I told you guys this before. Because remember, beliefs are what drive actions. Actions create results. and their actions do not align with the versions of themselves they want to become due to their beliefs. So they feel unworthy of becoming that future self. I hope this is making sense, people. I hope this is making sense. So essentially right now, you need to understand that in sales, you're basically promising them a new identity. Let's say we're selling a course to someone, TGR's trading course. This person, when they look at the version of themselves, when they understand the version of themselves in their head, right, they understand he is rich, but he's also hench, he's also jacked. He's also got good relationships with his parents. He's also got good relationships with females, for example, right? And as a sales rep, we need to make him feel worthy of the whole identity, because he's not just buying into the financial aspect of the identity, he's buying into the whole identity. So as a sales rep, you need to essentially look at any beliefs that are driving misaligned actions in his current 1.0 situation and work out what they are, reframe those beliefs now so that they now want to act in a new way. And by making them feel like they want to act in a new way, they're now going to become worthy of the whole identity. So there may be a belief that's driving them to not necessarily eat as healthy, for example. And because they're not eating healthy, they feel unworthy of becoming the version of themselves they want to become because they're not acting like him right now. And because they feel unworthy of becoming that 2.0 version, if you're promising them, obviously, the financial gain, of course, they may believe that you're going to give them financial gain. But remember, the identity they look at is someone that's got financial gain, but is also healthy, who's also making loads of money, got good relationships, and you've not made them feel worthy of the whole identity. So if you've not reframed that belief, they're not going to buy because they still don't believe that they are worthy enough of becoming that person. So as a salesperson, what you need to do is reframe their beliefs to match the 2.0 version of themselves, shifting their identity, their opinion on things, and their opinion on experiences they have experienced in their life. And this is what you need to understand. It's their identity, their opinion on things, and certain experiences in their life which shape their belief system. And this belief system shapes their actions, and these actions will shape their results, okay? So if you're not able to reframe their belief system by understanding mindset, there is no way you can reframe their actions, and there's no way you can change their results. You need to help them think like the version of themselves they want to become. So it's allowing them to understand that if they start thinking like the version of themselves now, they will act in alignment to him and they'll be able to see the results of him. So they finally feel worthy and act in alignment with the 2.0 version of themselves because they understand any limiting beliefs that would have held them back from buying in the past. If they keep listening to it while continue to stay in the position they are in. Okay, this is how you do this. In order to do this, you must understand the mindset. You must understand what mindset is, understand the human mind. Because if you don't understand the mindset, you won't be able to stop limiting beliefs. Okay? I mean spot, not stop. You will not be able to spot the limiting beliefs, nor will you be able to break them. And you won't be able to make your prospect feel worthy of becoming a newer, better version of themselves. So what actually is mindset? At the end of the day, all a sales call is a conversation. If you don't understand how to speak to people, it's always going to be an internal issue rather than an external issue. People love to externalize issues. Oh, they're not good at sales. Okay? They externalize it. I don't know the correct scripts. I don't know the correct frameworks. But what it actually is just a conversation. So if you don't know how to have a conversation, you've been having a conversation every single day probably for the whole of your life, it's usually probably an internal issue. The scripts and frameworks can help you by like 10%, but it's usually what's going wrong up here. So mindset is what your mind is set on. It's built on how you think, feel, and act. So essentially, your subconscious mind is built on thoughts that happen in your conscious, regularly happening over time. These become beliefs. Feelings over time will become emotions, and these drive actions, which will now drive habits. And these are your automated behaviors like your subconscious mind. Remember, we don't question these programs, we just live by them. So essentially, everything that you replay in your conscious mind will impress into your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious mind will express this into reality. And this is something that is so important. You need to think now in your head, bro. The situation you're in is everything you've replayed in your conscious, which has been impressed into your subconscious, which you are now seeing in reality. Because whatever you believe to be true is what becomes true. So think about it. The situation you're in now is what you have manifested. Yes or no? See? That's the reason you're in there. But the reason you haven't thought bigger, the reason you haven't thought better is because you've bought into beliefs as you have grown up from your experiences, okay, and through general society and through your parents, that type of thing. But as soon as you shift it, as soon as you shift your opinions on certain things, yourself, and certain experiences that you've had, that's when you now morph your belief system to take different actions. And now you're also going to see a different reality because you're going to be replaying different thoughts now, which will impress different beliefs into your subconscious mind, which will now mean you will see a different reality. So what actually is a conscious versus the actual subconscious? So your conscious mind is what is thinking consistently, but the subconscious is 40 times stronger. You guys need to understand this, people. 40 times. It will control your identity, patterns, emotional reactions, and automatic behaviors. Where these beliefs come from, which now cause these automatic behaviors. So when you grew up, bro, you were born confident. You respected yourself. You loved yourself. You believed you'd be rich. You imagined the cars, the lifestyle, the freedom. You felt as if it was done. But as you grew up, you bought into people's limiting beliefs. Society, parents, school, all telling you that you're going to be a 50K per year accountant. And that's what a good life is. You bought into these beliefs. You knew nothing better. Your brain was completely plastic. You experienced things that shaped the way you think. Failures, rejections, negative emotions. And these created opinions about yourself, about the world, about money. Beliefs formed from experiences. For example, you asked for something as a kid. I know my dad did this. Your dad says money doesn't grow on trees. This little belief that gets ingrained into your head consistently as a kid now means you believe money is hard to make. Money is rare. Money is far away from me. This belief becomes subconscious. And now you've put money onto a pedestal. And think about it. If you put money on a pedestal, you've created a gap between you and the money. So you feel like you're not the type of person who makes big money. This is why a prospect won't buy from TGR, even if TGR promises 10K a month, because their entire life taught them that it's impossible. It's too hard. It's not for people like them. And a lot of sales reps are always telling people they don't buy because of fear. That's bullshit. It's not because of that. It's because they feel unworthy of becoming the person you are trying to promise them that they will become. Remember, sales is all about making your prospect believe that you believe what you are saying. So most people think they need to rebuild confidence or rebuild self-respect. But what they really need to do is release the beliefs they bought into and unlearn the things that damage their identity. You guys are so focused on believing you need to build confidence. You need to build your respect for yourself up. You need to build your love for yourself up. Remember when you were 6 years old, you loved yourself. You would walk down the street. You would tell your mum, I want a Ferrari. I'm going to have a Ferrari. I remember when I was 6 years old, I used to imagine myself on a private jet. I used to have everything. I remember the thoughts, bro. You're on a beach, you're watching YouTube, you believe this is all, you're worth all of it. This is your inherent worth. You believe it as a kid. But as you grow up, bro, you bought into people's limiting beliefs. People in a position you don't want to be in, but you naturally buy into these beliefs because that's all you're exposed to. It's only natural. But as you do that, what do? You limit the potential you believe you can tap into. And as soon as you limit the potential you believe you can tap into, that is the only amount of potential you can. So as soon as you unlearn these things, increase the potential you believe you can tap into, that means you can now fulfill an exceedingly amount more of potential for your whole life. And as soon as you believe you can tap into a great potential, that's the point you feel worthy of becoming the person that you so truly deeply believe you can become. And if you can do that as a sales rep, you've made the sale. So let me teach you guys some mindset truths. So we only see 0.035% of our reality. The world isn't what it is. The world is what you are. Remember, our eyeballs, everyone believes it comes in. It comes in and we perceive it through our brain. Okay? Our eyeballs are projectors of whatever we believe in our subconscious mind. Okay? They are projectors of what you believe in your subconscious mind. There is a perspective for everything. Okay? And whatever you believe to be true in your subconscious is how your mind sees everything. So remember, our eyeballs are projectors. Your results will mirror your internal beliefs when your subconscious aligns with your conscious mind. So remember, whatever you impress into your subconscious will be expressed into reality. Through the projectors. Told you, people. So society teaches us do, be, have. And this is what traps us. It traps us in the matrix. Work hard, then become someone, then get the results. But as a closer, you must shift them to be, do, have. Become the person first. Act from the identity, and results will flow naturally. It's not about doing more, it is about being more. And I remember when I first learned this concept, I did not understand this. But this is how I'll make you guys understand it. The version of yourself that you are trying to become, the version of yourself that you are promising your prospect that they are trying to become, how do they get there? They get there through their actions, right? And what drives the actions? Their beliefs. So if their beliefs, if their beliefs are not aligned to the 2.0 version of themselves, they can never see the results. Because the only way to get there is by having the same actions as the version of yourself you're trying to become. Because it's by doing that, that's how you see the results. But what drives the actions? The beliefs. So your belief system must match the 2.0 version of yourself. That's why you must become them first in the way you think, in order to act like them, in order to see those results. Make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Leave me a comment if that doesn't, because this is the most important concept when it comes to sales here, people. Be, do, have. So I'm going to give you another example just so you guys understand, right? So 2.0 version of yourself. He believes money is easy to make. The one that's living in Miami, got the McLaren. I know for myself, he understands money is easy to make. Before, I used to believe money was hard. So I would tell myself money is hard, money is hard, money is hard. So what was I doing? I was associating pain with money. Therefore, in the pursuit to money, my brain perceived it as painful. Therefore, there would always be resistance. And I would find it so hard to work. But I knew the 2.0 version of myself just worked so easily. As soon as I became him, believed money was easy, right? I now associated no pain to the pursuit of money. Therefore, the work now became super easy. And by doing this, the money just literally came to me. I became a magnet to the money. So this is what I mean. You must match the belief system first of the 2.0 version of yourself to act like them, to see the results. Okay, identity now, guys. I've gone over this a lot now, but what is identity? So identity is everything. Identity is your being, if this makes sense. So it's from repeated doing this, and you become who you repeatedly act as. So these are some key lines for you to understand this. You can hit goals without changing identity, but you will feel so much resistance. So 2.0 version of yourself, he already feels approval. He knows everyone loves him. He has his own approval. He does not care. But you guys in your 1.0, you're working for people's approval. So you're technically saying you're not good enough until you hit a certain goal, right? Are you acting, or are you truly becoming the 2.0 version of yourself? No, you're not, right? So this means if you don't believe you're good enough along the journey, do you see you can still get there, but there's just going to be so much resistance because your belief system doesn't align with the 2.0 version of yourself. Therefore, the actions are going to become so much harder. So this means rather than focus on discipline, which means misalignment, focus on being. Understand the 2.0 version of yourself and become them now. Therefore, you will act like them. Because remember, beliefs drive action and actions drive results. So change the beliefs. That means you change your identity, and that means you change your results. Stop looking at yourself as some poor guy. You're not. If you continue looking at yourself as a poor guy, you will always be poor. Okay? You need to shift your beliefs, match the 2.0 version of yourself, therefore you will take actions like the 2.0, and therefore you'll see those results. And this is what you need to do for your prospects when you're setting or when you're closing. Make them become that 2.0 version of themselves in their belief system. It's when you do that, they feel worthy now of becoming the 2.0 version of themselves. Therefore, you need to reframe all limiting beliefs that they've literally adopted, bought into their whole life. Once you can do that, you can sell. But do you see how important mindset is now? Because you need to be able to notice those beliefs, but also reframe those beliefs. So this is a really big concept now, and literally the biggest concept I have built up my sales ideology on, which is this idea of unworthiness, which I've been speaking about a lot now. Unworthiness. Let me quickly correct these little spelling errors for you guys. Beautiful. So when you sell to a prospect, even in something like financial gain, they're not just imagining more money. They start imagining the entire 2.0 version of themselves. Healthier, fitter, more disciplined, eating well, performing better in every area of life, living the version of themselves they know they should be. This is where the unworthiness comes in. They want the 2.0 life, but they are still operating from 1.0 beliefs. Your job as the closer is find every area they feel misaligned. So identify the beliefs in their 1.0 identity that are making them act in ways that oppose the person that they are trying to become. Understand the beliefs that created those behaviors. Shift those beliefs so they begin operating as the 2.0 version of themselves, because the truth is, people don't feel unworthy because their goal is big. They feel unworthy because their behaviors don't match the identity they want to step into. Your job is to fix that misalignment, and by fixing that misalignment, you now make them feel worthy of becoming the 2.0 version of themselves. Boys, this is sauce. This is sauce. No one teaches sales like me. And this is the reason, because no one understands it. I'm telling you guys, if you understand it, you're going to pip everyone. I don't get objections. In this bootcamp, you guys will never get an objection because you're going to understand sales truly and deeply. Okay? Shifting beliefs equals shifting the identity. When you break beliefs that keep them stuck in 1.0, they now feel worthy, bro. They feel capable. They trust themselves. They feel momentum. They see the path. They step into an identity needed to win. You're not just giving them a short-term motivation by going, come on, bro, fucking do a run. Come on, buy our course. You need to get uncomfortable. You need to grow. No, you give them long-lasting motivation now, because through shifting their belief system, this is not something that they can unturn. I'm telling you guys, every single person I've had a conversation with in person, right? They get a long-lasting motivation, but it stays. It stays forever, because right now I've reframed their belief system to act in a certain way. This makes them say yes, not from pressure, but from belief, because they now believe that they are worthy, because they are worthy now. Okay? Because remember, whatever you believe to be true is what becomes true. So this is the role of conviction in sales, and this is the last part of this part. Let me do a little couple corrections for you guys. So, the role of conviction in sales. 90% of a conversation is not what you say, it's how you say it. Conviction doesn't come from scripts. Conviction comes from you improving mentally, you upgrading your mindset, you aligning with your own 2.0 identity. So remember, people, remember. Of course, we're making them feel worthy, but remember, talk the talk, walk the walk. You also have to feel worthy yourself in order to make someone else feel worthy. Okay? And if you are making someone try and become the best possible version of themselves, make them feel worthy of becoming them, you must be doing it in your own life. So you'll realize with this, right, the best sales reps always are doing it to themselves. They're always closing themselves. They're always reframing their own beliefs to become the best possible version of themselves. This is why they go into calls with conviction, but that's also how they know how to be the best sales rep, because they understand mindset. A person with internal alignment speaks with a different tone. Prospects feel it immediately. You can see how I'm talking to you guys now. The conviction, because I understand this. I believe in this. I've seen it change my own life. You can't fix other people's mindset if yours isn't being improved daily. In order to sell, your mindset has to be on point. And in the next few videos, I'm going to teach you exactly how it works and how to improve your own and how to improve your prospects. But let's get to bootcamp video 2.